In this lesson, you will learn how to create a calendar table. A calendar table allows you to carry out periodic analysis on your Power BI report. For instance, a company might want to see sales report by year, by month, by week, or even quarter. So it is important to create a calendar table to meet this requirement. Let me show you this sample report here. Okay, now take a look at this report. Let's say, for instance, I want to filter this report by year 2013. So I can come here and then click on 2013. Notice when I clicked on 2013, the report changed. Okay, now let's go to 2014. All right, notice what happened as I select this here, the report keeps changing. This is an example of what the calendar table can do. Let me show you this report as well. Okay, take a look at this report. Say I want to filter this report by year as well. The revenue, cost, and profit, and of course this chart you see here is for the entire year. Okay, but I want to filter it only for the year 2016. Okay, so you can see the whole thing is changed, right? So this is what the calendar table can do for you. Or say I want to filter it by month. Okay, October, the entire thing got changed. Okay, so this is what the calendar table can do for you. So how do we create the calendar table? To create the calendar table, you need to take note of the date columns in your sales data or your fact table. Okay, so in our case, our sales data here, let me go to the data tab here and then click on it. Okay, so our sales data here is our fact table, and we have this order date here in the sales data. The calendar table is going to leverage on this order date column in order to create its own values. So let's see how it works. To create the calendar table, you go to the report view here, okay, and then come to where you have modeling. Okay, click on modeling and then come to where you have new table. Click on new table like this. Okay, so let's wait. So here we are given this box to type in the calendar table which we want to create. So let me remove this and then type calendar. The name of this table is called calendar. Some people call it dates. You can call it any name you want. I like to call my own calendar. So, okay. And then let's use the function calendar mean. I'll explain this code how it works. Okay. Sales order date. Let me look for sales. Okay, order date. So as you can see, the intelligence suggests the order date here for us. Okay, max sales order date. Okay, now what does this code do? Okay, now look at this. I already showed you the sales table and the order date column which we want our calendar table to liberation. Okay, so what we are doing here, we want to pull the minimum sales date and the maximum sales date and then use that to create the first column in our calendar table called date. Okay, so this is just what it does. This code pulls the minimum sales date from the calendar, from the sales table in the order date column, and also the maximum sales date in the sales table as well. Okay, so having typed this code, let's press the enter key on the keyboard. Okay, so now let's come to the data view here. Okay, this is the data view, and this is the first date in our calendar table. Notice I'm currently on the calendar table, so you can click on it and you have access to this same code that we wrote, and then it has created this column called date for us. What this has done is that it has pulled all the values on the other date column and then use that to create the date column in the calendar table. Now, after doing this, the next thing you have to do is to change the data type of this column. So click on the column like this and then come to where you have data type. Let's select dates here. Okay, so let's click on date to select the date data type. All right, so now the next thing we need to do now is to create the year column. To do that, come to ensure that you click on the column tools here, column tools, and then click on new column here. Okay. The next column we want to create is the year column. Okay, so let's just type year, and then let's say year. Remember, this is our calendar table and it has the date column. We want to extract this year 2016, 2017 and all that and use that to create a column called year. So let's do this. Let me zoom this so you can see the syntax clearly. So we have the year function that extracts the year from the specified column. So the column here is the calendar date. Okay, remember this is our calendar table and then we have the date column. So this code will extract all these years and then use that to create, a column for us. So let's press the enter key on the keyboard. So let's wait for it. As you can see, we have a column that holds all the years. Okay, so with this we can create something like this. Okay, with this we can create something like this where we have all the years in order for us to be able to filter any report by year. So we've achieved that. Let's go back here. The next column we need to create, looking at this dates column here, there are some certain informations that we need to extract. First is the year and also the month as well. Okay, so we want to extract the month from this same date column. To do that, click on the column tools and then click on new column here. Okay, so let's give it the name month. Okay, and then let's use this format in DAX. Then we specify calendar table and the date column. Now what we want to do, we want to extract this month. On this date column, you can see something like July. Okay, if you drop this box, you're going to see many other months. So we want to extract all the month name, okay, and then use it to create a column called months. So now we don't want the full name of the month like July, January. We want to just abbreviate the month name to just 3 characters. So to do that, we can enter something like this. Okay, so this will do the magic for us. So this is the syntax. Month name, the column name which you want to create, and then we use the format function and then we pass in the column where we want to extract the month name from. Okay, and then we want to limit it only to 3 characters. Okay, so let's enter key on the keyboard. So right here you can see the month name has already been extracted from this date column. All right, now I want to show you something. Okay, let me come back to click on the report view here. Before we're currently on the data view, so let's come to report view. Okay, let me just take this to the left. Okay, let me resize it, or let me do away with it completely. Okay, let me remove it. All right, so now let me click on this table. Okay, you can do along with me if you want to practice. This is the table visuals. Under visualizations, I want to click on the table here so we can see the calendar table we just created. We want to see the values. So on the fields here, remember this table is still selected. If it's not selected, you can click on it to ensure that it's highlighted. Now come to the fields here. Okay, this is the calendar we just created. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to drag the year like this to the columns. Okay, I don't want it to sum it, so click on don't summarize. Okay, then let me do the same thing with the month. Drag the month like this below the year and drop it. Now look at what we have here. Let me increase the font size of this table so you can see it clearly. Let me come to values and then let's set the values to 14 and then the column headers as well to 14. Okay, now look at this. You can see the way this month name is ordered is not really appropriate. Okay, let me remove the, I don't want the year. Okay, let me just use only the month. So click on this table. Let's come to add data to your visuals icon here. I want to remove the year, so we have only the month here. Okay, now looking at this, we want the month name to start from January, okay, February, March, and all that. We don't want it to start from April. By default, Power BI automatically, rendered this month, in ascending order. Okay, so we don't want that, right? We want the month to start from January, February, March, and so on and so forth. So to do that, let's come back to our data icon here. Click on the data icon. So we need to add a new column that will allow us to sort this by the month name. So to do that, ensure that you click on the column tools and then click on new column here. We want to create the new column called month number. Okay, and then we're going to use a function in DAX called month. Then let's supply the calendar date column here and press the enter key on the keyboard. Okay, so what has this code done for us? Okay, what it does is this: every month has its own number. For July it is 7, for August it is 8, for January it is 1, and all that. Okay, so this is just what the code has done for us. So what we need to do is to order this month name, or to rearrange this month name and then order it by month number. Okay, so to do that, click on the month like this. Okay, just click on the month to highlight it. Then come to where you have sort column by. Ensure that the month is still selected. Come to where you have sort column by. Okay, and then drop it down. We want to sort it by what? By the month number. Okay, so let's click on the month number. All right, now let's go back to our report area like this. As you can see, this month has rendered in the way we want it to be, from January to February, March, April, and all that. Let's go back to our data here. We want to also want our users to be able to filter report by quarter. So we need to add a column called quarter to help them do that. So ensure that you click on the column tools and then come to new column here. Click on it. So let's call this quarter, and then let's say format calendar month. Okay, so this is how to create the quarter column. So this is the syntax to create quarter one, first quarter, second quarter, and all that. Let me press the enter key on the keyboard. Okay, so here we have Q3, Q4. If you drop this down, you're going to have Q1, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. Now, this is how to create a calendar table. What we have done so far is step one, of the process. The next thing we need to do is to tell Power BI that this is not an ordinary table. This is, a calendar table, a date table that will allow us to carry out periodic analysis on our report. So to do that, come to where you have the calendar here on the left under the fields. Take note of these more options. You have, this dot icon, right? Now click on it slowly. Okay, we need to mark this table as a date table. So to do that, just click on mark as date table, and then click on mark as date table here. Okay, then we need to select the column. The column here is the date column in this calendar table. Power BI has already validated this column for us, so let's click on OK. So this is the second step, marking this table as a date table that Power BI recognizes in order for us to carry out those reports that has to do with time, year, and all that. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to create, remember that the calendar table derives its data from the sales table. Okay, this is our sales table. Remember this order date. The calendar table here pulls all these the date values here from the order date columns in the sales table. So what we need to do is to create a relationship between the calendar table and the order table, so that it will help us to do something like this, to help us when we select a particular year, it filters across every report. Okay, so let me go back to our Power BI file here. Okay, so remember I click on the model tab. Okay, this is the calendar table we created. If you can't find it, just scroll to your right, and then let me drag it to where I have my sales table. This is my sales table, and this is the order date column. I want you to take note of this. This is the order date column which the calendar table, derived its values from. So we want to create a relationship between this date table in the calendar table and the order date column in the sales table. To do that, click on the date column like this on the calendar table. Okay, and then drag it like this slowly. All right, we want to drop it on the order date column in the sales table. Okay, so just ensure that it aligns very well. Don't drop it on other columns, just drop it on the order date column like this. If everything works fine, you're going to see a connection between the calendar table and the dates table. As you can find it here, okay, it is already connected. So this is how to create a calendar table that will allow you to carry out periodic analysis on your Power BI report. See you in the next lesson.